It worked.
It
Finally.
works. I don't know what was going on. I'm going to say user error on that one. No.
Today's Sewpreneur is Nikki from BeauteJador.com, a lifestyle DIY blog that was created in 2012. Nikki actually learned to sew later after she launched her business. She's a self-taught seamstress, has created a loyal following of home sewers, fashionistas, foodies, skincare enthusiasts, and DIY fanatics in only a few years. After sewing her first garment only 3 years ago, her blog and Instagram is a must follow in the DIY world. Nikki is a Midwest transplant, lives outside of Washington, D.C. with her husband and her daughter. Nikki holds an advanced degree in marketing from George Washington University and has over 15 years experience in sales and marketing. Nikki, thank you so much for joining us on Sewpreneur. We are taking the time to interview a variety of different women entrepreneurs who have taken their hobby and their passion and turned it into a profitable business. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to have Nikki start off by just telling us a little bit about her blog.
Okay. It's a lifestyle blog. It started off pretty much as food, decor, and fashion. And then it kind of turned into a sewing blog out of nowhere. I don't know how that happened, but it did. And so
awesome.
That happened probably in May of 2012 is when it started to kind of move into the sewing aspect of the blog. But I still do the lifestyle stuff. So I still do the decor and I do the food, but primarily it's sewing.
Okay, and how did you start sewing and who taught you?
That was a fluke. I made a maxi skirt and it looked halfway decent. I remember wearing it and people said, "Oh, that's so pretty." I'm like, "Oh, you should have seen the construction. It was horrible." But at that point, I was like, I love this. I enjoy sewing. I want to learn more about it. And I taught myself. I kind of looked at YouTube videos and bought some books and just started doing it. So, yeah.
Well, that's great. And then, so transitioning from the fluke maxi skirt,
Yeah.
what gave you the idea to then start the blog? And then how did you even get started in all that you do for sewing and all that you post on the blog?
Well, I started the blog before. So I started the blog in January of that year. So a few months before I started sewing. So the reason I started the blog was in August of 2011. My mom passed away. And everything within me said, life is really short. I need to do something that I love as opposed to kind of chasing the money. And so I left my job, left the money, and I was like, I'm going to start a blog. And what was odd was I never even followed blogs. I never looked at blogs. It was just something that I heard because I didn't have time to. So it was just something that people talked about. And I was like, I'm going to start a blog. And it just kind of happened from there.
Oh, that's awesome. That's wonderful. I think that's something that's so important for women, anyone, but women specifically, is what do you really love, and having the guts and the unction to actually follow that, and like you said, stop following the money, but do what your heart desires.
Right. And it'll come, like the money will definitely come. And if it's something that you love to do, I get up every morning and it's a joy. I look forward to sewing. I don't do as much because before I sew like nonstop, but because I just had a baby, some of it has kind of, slowed down a bit, but I'm definitely going to get back in it full speed ahead.
Right. I know. I have 2 kids myself. And so that definitely kind of throws, it's not even a monkey wrench. It's just like in a different perspective.
Different way of life. Yeah. You just have to work around it, figure it out, and make it happen. Yeah.
Exactly. Lots of late night sewing. I do tons of binge stuff. So I won't sew for like a month or 2. And then I'll spend 4 days, nights up until 2 in the morning, just cranking stuff out. So You just do what you got to do.
You have to get in whenever you can. You have to make it, manage your time.
Exactly.
Little sleep, not a whole lot of sleep is going on in this house.
How old is your baby?
She just turned 7 months on Monday.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What would you attribute to your blog's success and the following that you've built thus far?
Maybe I'm going to guess and say it's because I am considered a new sewer, but the things that I create are a bit different than what other people create. I like to take the patterns and I like to kind of make them my own. So what I make doesn't look like I made it at home. So it looks more so store-bought. And the fact that I didn't grow up sewing. This is not something that I did forever. So I think that's intriguing to people. And it encourages people to continue to try to start sewing and kind of jump in there, because I haven't been doing it long myself.
So would you think you attract that sewer then? You attract the newbies?
I do. Yeah, absolutely. A lot of new people. I get emails every single day asking, you know, how do I get started? And I can just give them the advice that I even gave myself. Just do it. Just jump in and do it. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's fabric. You're doing it in the privacy of your home. So if you mess up, it's not a problem. Just kind of pick yourself up and continue to do it.
All right. So I saw then and read that you have a marketing background. So high five, marketing sister.
Hey, hey.
How important was marketing? And, you know, maybe you haven't done it or maybe you have, but how important has marketing been for your business? And what marketing tips do you have for other sewpreneurs, whether they're bloggers or not?
Well, I just kind of put my stuff out there. And that was because this is completely different than what I've done before. You know, I was in marketing and sales. So I've always been in sales my entire life. So I've never been afraid to kind of just put myself out there. And, you know, you listen to the criticism. And I know that's a big thing. People are afraid to start a blog and they're afraid to put themselves out there because, you know, it's just a part of what it is. And that's my advice. Just kind of put yourself out there, contact a lot of the other companies as well. Just introduce yourself to them. Just, hey, you know, I have a blog. They may never come and look, or when they have downtime, they may come and look. And just kind of reach out to them and send out press releases. I'm a press release fan. So I do send out press releases like in my downtime while I'm sitting there with my baby on my lap, just to kind of, you know, push your stuff out there. But pretty much that's it. And I'm just staying consistent with it as well.
And who do you send your press releases out to? Just in case someone's listening and they're like, oh, I've done a press release and then I don't know what to do with it once I've completed it.
For companies that are in charge of social media and start in charge of their outreach. Every company now is pretty much building up their social media within their company. So you want to reach out to those people. Especially if you have Instagram, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, companies want to see that following that you have. And so reach out to them. Hey, this is what I do. This is my blog. You know, maybe we can do business in the future.
Okay, and that's great. And that kind of leads into my next question, my last question. You've worked with a lot of really great brands. You've done work with different pattern companies, different fabrics, etc. So as you've kind of reached out to them, probably in the way you've just said, how have you built those relationships? And again, do you have any tips for sewpreneurs on how to partner with brands?
Just staying consistent. Don't kind of send stuff out in hopes that, okay, I'm going to get some money from them, because that always kind of goes flat. So just, you know, hey, this is what I do. I can maybe help you with some program that you have coming up, and just being consistent. I mean, I've sent out tons of emails to just one person. And so at some point it'll typically pay off for you, but it's time consuming. And it's, you know, especially when you're sewing and you're doing all these other things and, you know, you're being a mom, you're being a wife, you're being all these other things. No, people don't have a whole lot of time to do it. But my thoughts is just stay consistent with it.
That's great advice. Thank you so much. And thank you, Nikki. We had a ton of technical difficulties going into this call, and you could have easily been like, that's okay, but you could have been like, I don't have time for this. I got to get back to my work. So I appreciate you hanging in there. Thank you so much. And best of luck to you, your baby, and your business.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you again.
All right, talk to you soon.